As the Jewish scriptures remind us in the book of Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. To everything there is a season, and this is the season of summer. Summertime, the season when, as Latinx poet Carmen Tafoya writes, summer is when we feel ourselves sizzle on the streets, sassy as salsa, and fry our huevos rancheros on the sidewalk. For some, summer is Yosemite, Morro Bay, or our backyard after the sun has set. For some, summer is substandard housing with no air conditioning, or gunshots, or a nighttime too dangerous to step outside to catch a breeze. Today, instead of our sermon, we will offer an exploration of this season's spirituality through summer-themed words and music. This morning, we chose for our jazz to be instrumental, so that rather than focusing on the summer-themed lyrics, we can explore the sensations of summer captured in every note and in the interplay between piano and saxophone. As we do so, let us remember that jazz arose in America from a joining of elements of European music with the rhythms and vocal stylings the enslaved Africans brought with them from their homelands, and which they used for spiritual sustenance as they performed brutal labors for their white captors. While jazz has now come to be loved around the world, we acknowledge that the sounds were originally reviled by white slave owners and overseers. Jazz remains one of the many rich contributions to our country's culture by Black Americans. And so, words and music.
Summertime and the living's easy. You know, I saw a post the other day that said summer really isn't that great. We're just programmed to love it because we waited all school year for summer break to arrive, and really the season is terrible. And I get it. It's hot, and I'm sweaty, and is that another fire? And I'm hot, and we're sweaty, and now the ash is in the sky, and we have to stay in. And I don't know if they told you this, but most adults, they have to work during the summer, too. No. Yep. No. It's true. No, I'm so sorry. But still, right now, summer is sweet. Because every day, my baby, and he is grown and bold and all his own. But every day, my son falls asleep across my lap, dreaming of popsicles. After I take a nap, I'm going to get up, and it's light out, and it's happy time, and I can get a popsicle. I can get a popsicle. And sure enough, it's as if he tells time by the shadows that say it's officially the hour to step outside with an icy treat and sit in the shade. We sit quietly in the afternoon sun. Gentle beckon of the whispering leaves and a wind chime calling us home and home and home again. Can I get just one bite of yours? even if they're the same flavor, sure. We share as the juice drops off elbows and into the ground. The sticky earth makes us dance, and we are up. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Swaying back to the water, I twirl our bodies in the crisp blue, and we watch the waves swirl from his arm. My father is holding him. Little then, he gently flows his body through space. Do you remember, he asks, what it was like to float inside your mama's womb? And now I remember sweet summers as a girl. I'm floating on the Russian River, my own excitement as I ran up the boardwalk, hot feet worth it for an ice cream bar from the snack shack. We are camping, and summer means the days are short, but the nights are long, and we travel to the point to watch the stars come out. Each light joins the chorus, a celebration of all our sticky hands and splashes, an honor of the sun that gives us play, and a welcome to the night that cools and calms the heart. In that moment, between summer day and summer night, summer feels eternal. Maybe I've been programmed, but there's something about it that still holds the magic of that youthful pause in time. Here we are floating in waves of sunshine and stars. Here we are eternal. Here there is peace and joy. We're out here having fun in the warm California sun.
You know, I have to improvise a moment. I just saw something so wonderful. I was sitting over there, you see, and I could see out the front doors. And there were 4 on the sidewalk, 4 baby geese walking along like that, and one more about half grown. How fortunate could I get? It was wonderful. Structure. One thing you can say about summer in Fresno is it is hot. Very hot. So how can we improvise to cope with the lassitude which often accompanies 3-digit temperatures? I think summer can be a time for improvisation. Perhaps you can tinker with your schedule. Now, if your stage of life now requires a strict temporal structure, maybe some portions of it, weekends, vacation, early morning, late afternoon, will allow enough flexibility for creative improvisation. Why not get up early enough to enjoy a cool morning and then take a rest in the late afternoon? Why not watch a ball game in the late afternoon and have a later dinner? In Spain, dinners can be as late as 9 o'clock after an early evening of wine and tapas. How about hanging up a hummingbird feeder on the porch or patio? Hummingbirds are a delight to watch, and then take the time to watch them and to listen to their garden possession songs. What I like to do is to concentrate on wonderful things that happen to me in the summer, and I'll share 2 of those with you. Every summer, I hold a sort of contest with myself to see if I can find the smallest possible praying mantis. Oh, that's a wonderful choice, yeah. That's wonderful. This summer was not a brilliant success. My first mantis was about an inch long. But one year, I saw one so tiny, it was still translucent. It had no color. It could not have been out of its egg very long. And though it was very tiny and nearly transparent, it had all of the aplomb and arrogance that we expect in a praying mantis. And one year, in late summer, I actually got to see a female praying mantis deposit an egg sac, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Then, every year, a pair of doves nests in a rain gutter outside my back door. I named them Dorothy and Dimitri, and I find it very restorative to see Dorothy sitting peacefully on her nest. I like to think she's meditating. One year, I got to see Dimitri bring Dorothy a lovely gift, a long, flexible reed, which she received graciously and tucked in a circle around her nest. And of course, I get to see baby doves grow up. I hope that for you too, there will be little moments illuminating your summer. I recall a quote somewhat modified from Albert Camus. Even in the depths of winter, I find I have within myself an invincible summer. May you all enjoy an invincible summer.
Summer can be hard in the Central Valley, this place of abundance and scarcity. These are the voices of summer from 3 poets of the Valley.
The first poem comes from Gary Soto, who has been called a poet of poverty in America. Here he writes in the voice of a field worker.
The Elements of San Joaquin by Gary Soto. The wind sprays pale dirt into my mouth, the small, almost invisible scars on my hands. The pores in my throat and elbows have taken in a seed of dirt of their own. After a day in the grape fields near Rolinda, a fine silt, washed by sweat, has settled into the lines on my wrists and palms. Already, I am becoming the valley, a soil that sprouts nothing for any of us.
In Fresno, my dear Vang, winner of the 2016 Walt Whitman Award and recent finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, writes, "There is no room for wanderers, no place for soul searching on the electric wires and rooftops of abandoned homes, or the empty warehouses lit with graffiti, or the littered pavement leading to a liquor store, or the railroad tracks trailing to some faraway place. In Fresno, we live with its dry winter's cold hinged to the back of our hands, its blossoms whispering of another harvest, its fields tunneling dust in the middle of July, its streets of sycamores and maples and ginkgos that live to shed another fall. In a season of scarcity, the wind still blows to carry us through the longest nights. It is this breeze that calls to us in the middle of downtown as we look back only to find ourselves breathtaking and alone."
Our Valley by Philip Levine. We don't see the ocean, not ever. But in July and August, when the worst heat seems to rise from the hard clay of this valley, you could be walking through a fig orchard. when suddenly the wind cools and for a moment you get a whiff of salt. And in that moment, you can almost believe something is waiting beyond the Pacheco Pass, something massive, irrational, and so powerful, even the mountains that rise east of here have no word for it.
You probably think I'm nuts saying that the mountains have no word for ocean. But if you live here, you begin to believe they know everything. They maintain that huge silence we think of as divine, a silence that grows in autumn when snow falls slowly between the pines and the wind dies to less than a whisper, and you can barely catch your breath because you're thrilled and terrified.
You have to remember, this isn't your land. It belongs to no one, like the sea you once lived beside and thought was yours. Remember the small boats that bobbed out as the waves rode in, and the men who carved a living from it, only to find themselves carved down to nothing.
Now you say this is home, so go ahead, worship the mountains as they dissolve into dust. Wait on the wind, catch a scent of salt. Call it our life.
My mom was passionately Roman Catholic, but I think she had a secret part of pagan in her because she loved the turning of the seasons and the wisdom that each season holds. She used to say to me when I was a little child, when the season changed, she would always say, make sure you plant a prayer. Make sure you plant a prayer at the beginning of every season. And so when summer begins, I remember my mom's advice, and I plant a prayer, I plant an intention, what in the Jewish mystical tradition of Kabbalah they call a kavanah, a sacred seed of intent. At the beginning of this summer, I planted what I think is a profound seed for the summer and an intention to eat as much fresh Fresno State corn as humanly possible. And so as the summer knows what intention you plant, I invite you to enter our final song this morning with a sacred intention, a hope, a sacred seed, or as my mom would say, plant a prayer. What is it that you want to take root and grow this summer? Don't tell anyone, but the summer knows.